Hello everyone, I'm LT and this is Backpack Religion. My most viewed video on this channel is I visited a mosque for the food. A lot of you enjoyed it, so I thought I'd share the full tour video on this channel. I originally had it on my podcast channel, but I thought it'd be nice to bring it over here for you all to enjoy. I did limited editing on this video, so you can capture the full mosque in a very similar way that I did. So sit back and enjoy this full mosque tour video.
Alrighty. All right. Yeah. Oh, yes.
Right,
Okay,
right,
yeah.
Street, it was just that part.
I know.
So-
Yeah.
So much happened in between.
All right.
All right, we're
Good
on.
evening. Welcome. Assalamu alaikum. This is the Muslim Center of Middlesex County here in Piscataway. We're one of the oldest and also largest mosques in Central Jersey, back from 1986 all the way up to here. So that's, forget my math, but 27 years. I have an engineering and a master's degree, so I know my math. Right, so that's 37 years. Yeah, that's what I said. So, might not be the cleanest part there, but this is the mosque and the school building, all the way going down. You can see we have a big parking lot with over 200 parking spaces as well. We always get full. You'll see as the evening comes about, you might have trouble getting out because there are so many cars here. So we just finished a prayer service. It was at 6 o'clock. That's why you see a lot of people leaving. The next prayer service is going to be 7:36 or 7:37. That's the sunset prayer. So as you know, it's Ramadan. Ramadan is when we're fasting throughout the day, and now that it's we break the fast at sunset. That's when everyone gets together. We have a prayer service around sunset. That's the Maghrib prayer. Then we'll have a big dinner. So you guys are going to be in for a treat tonight.
That's right.
All right. So if you want to, you can jump right in. No, I think Afif will take care of it. All right, so this is our main lobby. Just take the lights. All right. So this is our main lobby. On my right is the actual mosque area where we go for prayer. On my left is our school building / multi-purpose facilities as well. How do I get the big light? Okay, that's all. All right. Okay. So you'll see we have two entrances. One is on the right. That's for the brothers' side. The men go through there. The left is for the sisters. The sisters go through there. So we have separate prayer spaces. We both go upstairs, but it's a separate partition between the two. Any questions you have on the calligraphy or any
I
pieces
was going to
around
say,
this?
is there any meaning behind some of the decorations we see here? Some of the
So decorations
ornamentation?
are going to be the decorations. It's not a religious meaning. It's more of a cultural thing. You see the arches and stuff. Those come back from the Persian / Ottoman area. Even if you look at maybe the Mughal period in India or the Ottomans, most of them had many arches. So that's why you'll see arches have become a traditional part of how maybe in a way Islamic architecture is. So that's just the decorations are more of a cultural significance. But if you have any questions on any words that you see around you, like for example, you'll see in the blue tiles at the back or at the front, right?
Yeah.
Those are actually the names of God. So
Oh.
yeah, I mean there are 99 names, known names of God, and we just made tiles out of them, and you'll see more of these even inside the mosque as well.
Are those also names of gods? Right?
Yeah, so that's a good question. So that is actually a short prayer that we say whenever we enter the mosque. So it just it's in Arabic, it's Allahumma ftahli ababa rahmatik. In English, it means, oh my Lord, open the doors of mercy for us. So literally, as you're walking through the doors of the mosque, entering it, you're asking God to open the doors of mercy for you. So that's a short prayer that we say. We have a prayer for almost everything. Before we eat, after we eat, before we go to sleep, after we wake up. So entering the masjid, even leaving the mosque has a short prayer as well. In the meantime, we can look at the school area here. It's a school building, but it's a multi-purpose sort of area.
Is this fairly common for mosques or place of Islamic worship to have a school?
No. Because schools are obviously much harder to start, maintain, grow. We have close to just under 500 students here full time, and right now they're on break because it's last few days of Ramadan. Otherwise, you would see a lot of activity in and out. Even we have evening schools as well, so you'll see a lot of kids in and out throughout the day and evening. But no, typically because mosques are, you'll see the mosque is a lot smaller. Schools obviously need a lot more space.
Yeah.
Like I said, if I have primary students, then it's a much bigger facility here. Mosques, you don't necessarily need too many things, right? So that's why it's easier to have a mosque, maintain it. Schools are a lot harder, but schools are the need now because we have much. I mean, we have a wait list of 200 plus students, so yeah, we can't keep up.
And this is K through 12 or
preschool to 12.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of times we say, well, if you're in Piscataway, you go to school here all the way to 12, you go to Rutgers. If you're undergrad or grad, you're well set.
So, I mean, obviously you'd probably have your core classes that like, math and all that stuff.
Right, yeah.
But I'm also assuming kind of like at Christian private school, you would have like Sunday school classes or whatever.
Right.
Is there something similar or
So
equivalent?
there are a few classes that are a bit oriented on the religious aspect of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, most of it is on the regular school curriculum, like
Okay.
any other place. And then we also have a separate track if kids want to memorize the Holy Quran. It's a big honor because the Holy Quran, as you know, is a holy book revealed by God Almighty, and it's a big honor if you actually memorize the whole book cover to cover.
In Arabic specifically.
In Arabic, yes.
Yeah.
It's only I can only remember in Arabic because it is in Arabic. And so far from this school, we had well over 150 kids memorize the Quran and graduate.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's a pretty popular thing that parents want to get their kids into. It's not for everyone because it's a lot hard. It's a lot of passion. It takes a lot of dedication and time. But we still had a lot of students do it. So that's a separate track also in the school.
Okay.
That goes along with regular studies as well. Yeah, like I said, many of our kids go to Rutgers for undergrad. Some go to Princeton and other
Princeton
universities as well. Yeah. So
man,
trying to keep up the talent here.
That's
Big talent
good.
pool.
That's
The
good.
academic achievement here is, when I've read about it, it's above the public schools.
Even though we might not have the resources, but we're doing our best with what we have, whether it's faculty and so on. So you'll see everything around you is Ramadan themed. Like we say, it's Ramadan Mubarak, and even these arts that kids did are focused on Ramadan. That's just the time of the year that you're here. Regular days also will have different themes of the month, so you'll have some art pieces.
And how do you say that full phrase? The Ramadan
Ramadan Mubarak. So Mubarak is more of blessed. Yes.
Okay.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because I've been seeing those in my comment section recently, and I've been trying to figure out what they mean.
All right.
So it's like have a blessed Ramadan.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. So
All
the
right.
word barak means blessing in Arabic. So you'll say Ramadan Mubarak. When Eid comes out, you'll hear them say Eid Mubarak as well.
Okay.
So yeah, that's basically what it is. Mubarak essentially means you have a blessed event or blessed gathering.
Okay.
So that's the school. That's the mission. I don't know if you want to take things of the classrooms. I guess not, right?
I mean, we don't need to
You
look through all the classrooms.
Yeah. Nothing special there. The regular classrooms. So we can. Let's give it another minute. We'll have to head upstairs to the main prayer area. Okay. The imam may be heading down. You can meet him as well.
Awesome.
As he gets down, yeah.
And how many people attend the mosque itself?
Oh, yeah. It's a good question.
Probably close to 1,000 at least, right?
1,000 a day. Typically, if you see upstairs, space-wise, we have like 250, and then first floor we have a few more. But what happens is we do multiple sessions then, so that way we get more people. I'll take you downstairs as well. That's our overflow area. You would see more people. Assalamu alaikum. This is the Imam of Ramadan. So he does work on comparative religion.
Okay.
So this is his first visit to a mosque. He's been to churches and synagogues. And
I
other
have
places.
been at a lot of different places at this point. I haven't been at a synagogue yet. I do want to go there. though.
Synagogue? Okay.
But I've been at multiple different types of churches and denominations.
Got it.
First time at a mosque. Very, very glad to be here. We visited a Mormon temple out in DC one time.
Right.
And I visited Eastern Orthodox, very like traditional, like more Orthodox church. But yeah, first time at a mosque, so this is fun.
All right. Okay. So I said, yeah. Sorry.
I hope you get the understanding that you need to have, right? Did you go upstairs? Did you see the?
Yeah, I'm just taking him upstairs
okay,
now.
you're going
Yeah.
there, right? Well, that's the main place. the main part of the mosque. All of the rest is just to assist in the prayer itself, the
Yes.
establishment of the prayer.
Mhm.
So when you go upstairs, feel free to ask any questions.
Yeah.
Iqbal will be able to answer most of the questions there, right?
Okay.
You look around you, you see things, whatever comes to mind, you ask about it.
Okay. Thank you. This is a very.
Yeah, if I can answer anything, I'll bring him back.
Yeah,
to you.
sure.
I very much-
You
Yes.
come now, will you?
Yeah, we can. Keep going.
Okay.
The first floor area, so you have restrooms on the right side for the brothers.
And not just restrooms. These are places where we make ablution.
Yeah.
The washing and so on before. So usually, people are coming here from work, and they may need to use the restroom. But in addition to that, they will need to do the ablution, washing their hands and the face and the feet and so on. So this is an important, in fact, a compulsory part of the prayer. Our condition for the prayer. We have to do that. The other thing I want to mention, though, is while in most mosques today you see people taking off their shoes, so in the mosque, the prayer area, there are no shoes. We're not praying because there are carpets. But if you're out in the open, if you're praying in the open, say, not in a building or in another building that's not a mosque, you don't have to take off your shoes, right? We only do it here just to keep the place, clean and tidy and so on, right? Keep the carpets because normally everybody's putting their heads on the ground, so they need to have a clean place to do that. But otherwise, outside on the earth, we pray on the ground itself, the bare ground, gravel or whatever is there. We can pray there, and we have to put our heads there. As long as the place is clean enough, then we pray there. And basically, what it means is that there is nothing such as like maybe a dog came there and urinated, or there's some feces and so on. Once those are removed, then the place is clean.
Actually, I have a funny story actually to go along with that. I know a masjid in North Jersey that wanted to because the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, peace be upon him, used to pray with his shoes on. So they wanted to revive that practice. So they had people praying on the carpet with the shoes on. Well, within within a year, I don't know the exact frame of time, might have been less, a little more. They actually had to remove the carpet, replace the carpet, and they said, okay, no more shoes in our masjid, because it's a practical thing.
Yeah.
And the Prophet prayed usually with the shoes on, and that is because the ground of the mosque was actually the earth itself, right?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It was the most simple structure, and the ground was just the sand and.
And so does the purpose of the prayer rug that a lot of people use, is that part of the fact of like keeping a clean surface?
Yeah, yes, that's right. It's to keep it. So you can spread that anywhere. Whatever is underneath, you don't bother with that, but you're praying on clean ground.
And then I was under the impression that some believe that you need, I forget exactly, like kissing something when they go down, or is that a certain sector? I'm not sure if what I'm thinking of.
That's the Shia.
Yeah, the Shia, they probably don't usually kiss it, but they have it is more like what is it? Perhaps a dry clay or something like that, right? And if they can get it from Karbala, they would have it from Karbala is a place where certain major incidents occurred in history, and so the Shia revere that place, right? They go there even for pilgrimage and so on. So they might bring away some of the earth, these stone tablet or clay tablets and so on, right, small, and they would use that. They would put their foreheads on that when they are going down.
Okay. Okay. That makes more sense now. So, is most people who go here, do they prescribe to a certain sector, or is it kind of diverse?
Well, it is the majority sect, if you want to say sect. The Sunnis versus the Shia.
Yeah.
Basically, in Islam, you have just the two branches, right? The Shia and the Sunnis. And the Shia, maybe about 10% of the entire Muslim world population. And the Sunnis are the vast majority. So this is, you can say, the more orthodox form of Islam, the more orthodox understanding of the Quran and the teachings of the Prophet and so on, right? This is what we follow here. But the mosque is, and most mosques throughout this country are open to anyone.
Okay.
So if a person, the time for prayer comes, and he has to pray, he will go into any mosque that is nearby. So I think Shia do that very often. Shia come here too, right?
Yeah.
And if we are around their mosque, and so we would pray in it. So it's not that we mutually exclusive. So let's proceed.
This may be overflow area, so if the top floor gets full, then we roll out these carpets.
Okay.
And then pretty good.
Okay. So are a lot of mosques like this, where they're like almost like community centers where people can come together and, I don't know, enjoy meals, recreation, things like that?
That's right. That's what we have here, and I think most mosques tend towards that in this country. We need a place to congregate and to have different activities. Okay. So.
Hey guys, it's me again. Just to give you some clarity on what's happening here, the frame rates dropped because the exposure was too high. We ran into technical difficulties at this point, so there are some parts of this video that have a low frame rate, and there's other parts where it's pretty much normal. Yeah, sorry about that. The camera guy I had with me was new to this whole camera thing, and he wasn't aware of what he did until afterwards. But hey, we live and we learn, and you can still enjoy it. We still got it on camera. So thank you for watching, and I just wanted to tell you why the frame rates dropped.
So this is the prayer area. This is for brothers, and behind there is for sisters. Right now we also have, because it is the last days of Ramadan, those who are staying in the mosque full time until the end of Ramadan for the last 10 days. So we have some almost like tents set up for them. They are here, brothers.
What's that timer over there?
Okay, let me explain a few things, and then you can ask questions after that. Right? So before we come to that, you will say, well, there are hardly any chairs. There are chairs for people who need it, especially like elders and so on, who may need to sit while praying. But usually the prayers are standing. We stand and we bow, prostrate, and so on. This niche in the wall here shows the direction towards Mecca that we have to, all of us have to face that direction. So even the Imam, when he's leading the prayer, he is facing that direction. He doesn't face the audience or the people. Right? All are facing in that direction, and all are basically doing the same actions. The Imam will be reciting from the Quran. The people are listening to him. And then he goes into genuflection, right? And the others do that after him, and they get up and then they prostrate and so on, right? So they're following the Imam, but everybody is doing the same actions as the Imam himself, right? So so if you're here until the time it's
They're gonna make it tall with us too.
oh, okay, okay, good.
And so does the Imam step up on those steps there?
For a sermon. That is only in the case of a sermon. and that is on Fridays. The midday prayer has a sermon attached. All of the other prayers do not. There's no sermon. We're just praying to God, right? But at the time of a sermon, he will stand on that, look at this way to the audience, and speak.
Is there purpose behind the stars and the design we see up here on the ceiling?
No, there's no religious significance.
Okay.
It's just a design that the original builders of this mosque and they had that design.
Okay.
If you go into another mosque, you will see other designs, mainly geometric designs. And then, what else do we have here? The times. What we have there, well, you see the top one is the time as it is now, and then below that you have the 5 daily prayers. Go closer. So there's a regular time. The second one where you have 2 dashes and you don't have a numbers, that will indicate when the time for any prayer is closed. It will give you the countdown, how many minutes remain, and there will be a countdown. The prayer for the morning before dawn or at the time of dawn, 5:15, and then the midday prayer 1:15, the afternoon prayer, which we just concluded a few minutes ago, and that is so right now it's 6 o'clock, and some of these times will change based on the time of the year, because in winter the days are shorter. Where the nights are longer and so on, so there will be a difference in time.
Okay.
Then sunset prayer, 7:45. That's around sunset time. Then the late night prayer, 9:15. That is after all of the twilight and so on has gone away.
Okay.
It's absolutely dark. 9:15. And again, it's the time this time of the year, but it will change. In fact, it will get later.
Yep.
It will get later as we go into summer. And then you have below that you have the Friday prayer 1:15. Because it is at midday time, it is the same as the midday one, which is 1:15, right?
Yeah.
Well, there are other things you can say. The time, the day, also giving you the exact time for each prayer and so on. And these are. This is telling you when 7:37 will be the time when we break fast. This will be the time just after sunset.
It's always a good time.
Yeah.
I'm seeing books over here. Are they all Qurans or are they different books?
No, most of them are. Some of them are the Quran with the translation, or Quran with explanations, and so on.
So like
but
commentaries.
Yes, commentaries, and there sometimes I think we have a few other books, such as hadith. You know what is hadith?
Yep.
Okay. Other religious texts and so on, jurisprudence. So we have books.
And then you said somehow also the English translation stuff in them too.
Yeah, some of them have English.
More of the ones with the English translation are over on that side.
For example, one with the English.
Oh,
Okay.
There's one over here with English.
Yeah.
That's the Arabic, and that's the.
Because I have, so at my house, I have 2 Qurans, and one is purely in the English, and the other one has the Arabic and then the English next to it.
Which translations do you have?
I honestly can't tell you off the top of my head. But I have 2 different translations, I know that much. And I've read the one all the way through in the English translation. I don't speak Arabic, so. But I have read the one all the way through in the English translation. But I did end up getting a second one at one point that had the Arabic in it as well that I thought was pretty cool to have.
Come on now, as you're learning all these religions, you also got to learn all the languages.
Then I mean, right now I'm studying Hinduism as well a little bit, so like I would need to learn Hindi and
Hebrew, and
Sanskrit.
Arabic,
Greek. Oh man, yeah. Okay.
It depends on what you want to go into more deeply. You would need to learn the language.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and
Because a lot of the prayers, especially, are said in Arabic, if I'm not mistaken.
yeah.
Yeah.
All of these, this kind of formal prayers are in Arabic. It's not allowed to do it in any other language.
Yeah.
But if you by prayer you mean a general prayer, you supplicate to God and so on. You do that in your own language. That is okay.
Yeah. I think the one thing that kind of like in my mind, since I never visited a mosque before, I was trying to envision um, how people would behave within a sacred place like this. I would assume because like in certain religious sects, like you're not even allowed to be in the holy place unless you're part of that religion. If that makes, if you know what I'm saying. And then
yes,
there's some
yes.
religions that are like
Uh,
it's very open. So like I was just really curious how this would look.
Yeah, I know people at first they think of Islam like that also, that we don't allow people inside of the mosque, but that is not so. There are always visitors at the mosque here and maybe most other places and most other mosques. And you can see that when tourists go to the Middle East, they go to mosque also, right? They are given tours of the mosque.
I've been I would love to travel. I would love to travel if I had the ability to. Yep.
Just one other thing to point out, that within the frame there, that's one verse of the Quran, but in calligraphy style, the way it is written.
Yep.
You have different styles of writing in Arabic, right? So whenever they write the Quran, they like to beautify it, right? The most calligraphic style and so on, right? So that's here. It's just one verse of the Quran.
Yeah, that is.
Which verse is it?
It's chapter 2, verse 255. It's called Ayatul Kursi, or the verse of the footstool.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay. What's the summary of that verse?
Or
what's the English?
Yeah, some people have translated it as the verse of the throne, right? Where it speaks about God. It speaks of who He is, that He has no partner. It speaks about His knowledge being comprehensive. He knows everything, every minute detail of everything.
He doesn't get tired. He doesn't sleep.
Right.
Okay.
Sure. Yeah, yes. He doesn't get. He doesn't sleep. His what you mentioned, the footstool. The name of the verse itself, the word that comes in it, his footstool extends over the heavens and the earth.
Okay. And you said you're an imam, right? What's your role as an imam within the mosque? What sort of practices do you do? What sort of things do you lead? All that sort of stuff.
The prayers, I will lead the prayers, but the prayers anybody else can lead also. If I'm not around, if the imam is not around, anybody else can lead the prayer. Right? As long as, of course, they know how to do it.
Yeah.
They must have some knowledge. Somebody might make a mistake. They have to know how to correct themselves, and so on. Right? So things like that. They have to have some basic knowledge of what they're doing. But anybody basically can lead the prayer. So if the imam is not around, they will appoint somebody from among them to lead the prayer. So that's one main thing. Beside that, other functions which you may say, like the social functions, conducting marriages and so on, giving advice and answering questions from the community. Giving advice, sometimes there are special occasions and so on, and we, again, these are while these are functions of the imam, they're not exclusive to him. Right?
Yeah.
So anybody else with the knowledge can do that, right? A special occasion comes along, so anybody who has the knowledge can explain it to the people and tell them what they have to do, and whether there are special prayers and so on. Anybody can do that, right? But these are things that I will usually do, and then the marriages, conducting the marriages and so on, and if there are problems within marriage, counseling and and so on. Right?
Yeah. Okay. And I've also noticed there's a general attire that people are wearing. Is there any sort of meaning behind the attire? I know modesty is normally a big part of it, but
Yeah. The reason for this kind of attire is we're trying to follow in the footsteps of the Prophet Muhammad. So the kind of clothing that he wore, and would be like this, not not exactly
Yeah,
necessarily,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
but something similar, something very close to this, and then there will be like the pants maybe underneath, right?
Mhm.
The soft cloth, right?
Mhm.
Pants, not the thick one. uh, so just trying to follow in his footsteps. He would keep his head covered, and that's why we
Mm.
cover our head.
And is there the prophet did it, so obviously it's important in that regard. Is there any other meaning behind the head being covered? I know from a tradition I come from, there's a passage in the Bible that talks about women wearing a head covering because of the blessings of the angels and so forth. I didn't know if there's anything like that in the Quran about head being covered or anything of any sort of spiritual significance, or
Uh, the spiritual significance is that we are trying to imitate the prophet
Okay,
himself,
okay.
doing what he did.
that in of
right?
itself is the spiritual
Yeah,
benefit.
yes.
Okay,
Mhm.
okay.
That connection with him, trying to develop that connection with him, and doing things in the way that he did them, and developing the kind of character that he had,
Mm-hmm.
uh, which is the character that human beings should have.
Yep.
Uh, Honesty, truthfulness, and things like that, kindness, and so on, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we try to imitate him, therefore, in terms of his character, in terms of his physical appearance,
Mm-hmm.
and then there are things that he did that are compulsory for us to follow.
Yeah.
Such as the prayer, the way that he prayed, we are supposed to pray like him, exactly like him.
And that would go back to a lot of the 5 principles of like Islam and the 6 articles of faith and things like that,
Yeah,
where the
yes.
compulsory things start coming in.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The
Okay.
the way he made Hajj, the pilgrimage,
Mhm.
and so on.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome.
I won't go with you the rest of the week.
Thank you. What's your name again? Raouf. All right. Thank you.
Actually, he's one of the giant among imams in the area. Like, you go to any other mosque, you say MCMC, they'll say, "Oh, can I my salam to Imam Raouf?" Mashallah, they're lucky to have him.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you. I'm very grateful. Oh, zakat and fitra. Those are has to do with giving.
Yeah, right. So zakat is one of the pillars of the faith. So you have to give out 2.5% of your annual savings.
Yep.
In charity. That's an obligation on every
Mhm.
Muslim. Fitra is very specific to Ramadan. This is where, as you know, as Ramadan ends, that's when Eid is the festival, right?
Yep.
And that's also a time where a lot of us who can they, buy new clothes. That's a time of celebration and so on. Fitra is where we give out money to those folks who probably cannot buy any clothes or toys and stuff like that.
Those in poverty. and
Yeah,
stuff.
those in poverty, yeah. So everyone, depending on where you are, there's a prescribed amount that each person has to pay.
Mhm.
I mean, it's a very minimal based on inflation / whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's
And there's mathematical formulas that go into it. So there's a few different ones.
Mhm.
So that's why one mosque you'll see
Yeah.
the majority will say $12. Walaikum salam, $12 for every person in your household.
Yeah.
Now but there are some mosques that I've used an equation at least of 15, and some that use 10. But I haven't seen any I've seen 10 to 15 range,
Yeah.
with the majority landing at $12 per person in your household.
Okay. Okay.
yeah, it's nothing erratic. It's all within certain plus or minus
Yeah.
standard deviations, if you want to call it.
Because back in the day, it people weren't giving money; they were given like wheat, dates,
Mhm.
raisins, and it was measured. So the formulas are kind of modern constructions to assess, the percentages that would have matched that.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen a ablution area?
I haven't seen inside.
You can just take a picture of the ablution area if you want. Basically, ablution is where we, I don't know if you know the whole process. We wash our hands,
Yep.
rinse the mouth,
Mhm.
face. Also, then we wash our feet. So that's why most places, mosques will have an area like this where you sit, obviously without your shoes and socks on.
Mm-hmm.
That's how you.
And that sign is a good reminder.
Yeah.
because the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, only used a certain amount of water and advised not to use too much water while doing it. So this is actually giving a visual for people, because a lot of times people like turn it up,
Yeah,
as high as it
especially
can-
here in the U.S.
yeah, as high as it can go, and you know.
Yeah,
I like the
there's a lot of
meme
water.
we got going on there. Meanwhile, in the wood.
Yeah, meanwhile,
I didn't even catch that. I mean, I didn't catch the picture.
Oh.
So I really brought it up.
So we can wear our shoes back on.
Alrighty.
Rest of the tour. So I would have loved to show the cafeteria, but that's where the sisters are getting prepared for the actual dinner.
Yeah.
You guys are
Um,
going up. You're going to the top.
Yeah, press two. And then our brothers are gonna have it downstairs in the gym, because we're all.
Yeah.
This is actually Brother Lincoln. He's the main man when it comes to organizing the food events.
All right.
Like 400 plus people, 500 plus people.
My new favorite guy.
Yeah, he'll hook you up. So extra meat. Can you smell it?
I do smell it. Smells good. It smells
You're
good.
fasting? You're fasting, right?
I've been fasting, so I'm hungry.
Yeah, come on.
I'd never been in here until this Ramadan.
Really?
No, I've
Oh,
never
yeah.
been in here.
So,
I can-
yeah, so this is actually our school gym / multi-purpose. You can just walk through.
Oh, sorry, my bad.
Yeah. So, yeah, usually, as I said, when I say multi-purpose, we do everything here. We pray here, we play here, we have dinner, get-togethers, and so on. You didn't make it for Interfaith Iftar, right? The one where we had
No.
the dinner for the wider community.
Yeah. So once a year they have an iftar where the mosque comes, the neighboring churches come, the synagogues come,
It's just anyone in general who wants
Yeah.
to know about Ramadan
Hindus, Sikhs.
and break the fast with us, know more about. Let me show you a quick picture.
It's like a United Nations of religions in here.
Yeah.
I believe it. You're also relatively near a pretty urban area, aren't? Like this place. It's pretty.
Yeah, New Brunswick is the
So
closest.
this was
It's very close,
the
actually.
place
Wow.
on the day. We had like 350 people. So we usually have in the formal setting we have dining tables and chairs, and the mayor, the congressman, everyone was there. In general, people across all walks of life just wanted to learn about Ramadan. Many had never been to a mosque before, like you, and it was a good opportunity for them to come see the mosque and break the fast with us. So
Yeah.
I'm glad you're going to be doing the same today. It's our second version of it. Yeah, you probably have. I don't think you'll have more people than last time, but we'll still have a good crowd here.
Okay.
So these are just mats. We're just rolling them up. So like I said, when the prayer spaces above get full on the mosque that we just saw, right? We're talking about at least close to 400 plus. Once that gets full, then we roll out the mats here, and we go up. Especially for Eid, we go all the way to the back, and we're still full. So Eid is like the end of the month. Even that day, we have 4 different prayers just to keep up with the crowds. So we have at least 3,000 plus people across on the whole day coming in and out.
Wow.
So we're just getting set up for dinner here. We'll have 2 serving stations. Let's talk to Brother Sham. Assalamu alaikum, Sham. How are you?
How are you?
These are our friends,
Oh, okay.
Dylan and
Hello.
Dave.
Dylan? Dave?
Oh, come on. Sorry. So Brother Sham is one of our, hardworking volunteers, always here helping out. What's on the menu today?
Today we have peri peri chicken.
Okay.
Peri peri chicken. We have corn, salad, and rice.
Oh wow.
If you know peri peri chicken, it's a very not
Not spicy,
spicy,
yeah.
but it's
I was gonna say, better
It's
not make my
very-
stomach like
well,
in pain.
but if you're into spice, we do have the extra spice on the side. So
I assure you, I will be fine.
yeah, so welcome.
Awesome. This is going to be great. I am excited.
So one of the things I wanted to answer your question before, because you had asked about like the translation of Ayatul Kursi.
Yeah.
So, it would be, God, there is no God but He, the ever living, the self subsisting supporter of all.
Mhm.
He does not get tired, nor does he sleep. And man,
He knows everything in the heavens and
and
the
the
earth.
earth,
Mhm.
and nothing can intercede, except with His will. And then He is the ever powerful, all knowing. And it's funny, I could have did this verbatim until I said, "Let me do it," and then all of a sudden, much of it went out of my head.
Sounds like me on exam day.
But basically, yeah, in a short nutshell, it's like he's shows the greatness of God.
Yeah.
That he's the all-knowing, ever-living sustainer, nourisher, never gets tired. Basically, equal to him is none.
Mhm.
And
No one can intercede with him.
Yeah, no one can. I'm just reciting the verse that yeah. So, and the part about the kursi, the throne, that is, throne extends across across the skies and the heavens. That's basically why it's called Ayatul Kursi, or what's the throne. But it's a very commonly recited verse among Muslims in general, just to
Okay.
remind ourselves. And also, once you recite it, you feel like, yes, I have someone looking after me. So it's, when we're scared or when we're, nervous, like just before you took my interview, I recited it. So, yeah, I think he didn't do it. That's why he
Use
forgot.
as protection. You're right, I didn't do it. So yeah, it's recited for protection and stuff like that. But I have went on certain, like when I went on certain YouTube channels, I did recite it before going on those channels.
Yeah.
There's actually another verse in the Quran which we often recite before going on. It's something that Prophet Moses had recited before he was going to talk to the Pharaoh.
Mhm.
Like in Surah Taha, it says, "Rabbi shabli wa yassirli amri wahlul 'uqdatan min lisani." So he recited, "Oh my Lord, make my speech easy for me," and it's so yeah, actually we are prepared for everything. Alhamdulillah. If you look around again, you will see Ramadan Mubarak and Ramadan Kareem and stuff.
Yep.
But again, this serves as our multi-purpose hall. We have the partition screen, so
Yeah.
when we have brothers on one side, sisters on the other, we actually have a stage that comes up here for events, and we can also do basketball tournaments if you guys are into it. This is actually, actually every inch of the building is very commonly used. Like you have a foot traffic almost everywhere.
Okay.
But since this is the gym, you can imagine a few more extra shoes here.
Yep.
But we cater to all sports here. So you have basketball. We have goes on. We have basketball clinics for kids. Soccer also, in believe it or not, we do play here. And then volleyball is a big one. Badminton is a big one. They've been playing up until 1 a.m. You have to be like, hey, get out of here. And they're still
Badminton?
playing. Yeah, badminton.
Oh,
we
man.
have portable nets that we set up. We have 3 courts.
Yeah.
And they're around the clock. So
Dusty, remember playing badminton growing up?
yeah, yeah. I mean, at the end you can try shooting a few hoops if you want to throw down a few hoops.
Well, not right now,
right now?
but
Okay.
maybe later.
Yeah. On your next visit.
My next visit,
Yeah.
I'll come here specifically just to challenge you on basketball.
Oh yeah. You're definitely gonna win that, but no. I mean, yeah, we have something for everyone.
Okay.
Across the day, across the night. We might need another one of these just because we can't keep up with people asking for more space. We have a separate time for sisters to come in and do their stuff, whether it's their sports or their exercises and fitness and stuff. So, yeah, that's about the gym. I think like say upstairs is the classrooms. Next to the Janazah room.
Janazah room? Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
I've never been there.
Never been there. Okay.
So Ahmed, is it that like what's your role here exactly?
Just a volunteer.
Just a volunteer? Okay. I didn't know if you had any other sort
So
of.
I take care of a few things. But with a few things, what I'm passionate about is the the part where welcoming folks of other faiths in.
Okay.
Basically, the outreach. I lead the outreach committee here,
Mhm.
so that's why a lot of interfaith work, a lot of community service work that we're doing. I'm leading that. There is in civic engagement. Basically, I'm the liaison between the mosque and the outside world in a way, if you wish. But we do a lot of community service things as well. We have a food pantry that runs every week, Wednesdays. We have 100 plus families registered with us who come in to pick up food. We have a Feed the Homeless program that runs every single day. We actually go out on the streets of New Brunswick. I'll send you a clip of it where we actually hand out hot meals to the homeless almost every day. So there's that. Obviously, in pandemic, we had many programs to help out those in need.
How was that over the pandemic with like COVID restrictions and stuff?
So yeah, that's where, because obviously the mosque was shut down during those peak 3 months. I think all places of worship,
Churches were too,
shut
yeah.
down. The only thing that was happening was the imam would just come maybe with one or two other folks who were the admins or caretakers of the mosque, and they would just do prayer service. But no, there was no prayer service for regular.
So then
folks.
people would just pray at home.
Pray at their homes, and 2020 March is when it really started up, right? If you remember, that's when all the curfews, lockdowns happened, and 2020 May was when we had Ramadan that year.
Yeah.
So that was a very quiet Ramadan. I mean, it's like, because Ramadan for us is where we all come here. It's like a big whole large family from different.
It's very much of
countries.
a community thing.
Yeah. So 2020 was like 2021 was a little easier in the sense that there were restrictions. We had 6 feet distancing. So at that point we had marked, like if you go upstairs, you'll see prayer areas where you all stand shoulder to shoulder. At that time we had placed marked 6 feet apart. So you would all stand 6 feet apart and do your prayer services. So a lot of things were restricted, not many gatherings and so on. But then 2022, we had to open up a little bit better. Now 2023 is like almost back to pre-pandemic, thankfully.
Awesome.
Like, these are just more classrooms, but there's just one area I just wanted to show you, like I had mentioned earlier. So I don't know if you've been to funerals. In our faith, funerals are pretty simple. We don't have a huge, obviously if you want to spend, you can. Typically funerals cost less than $2,000. Because it's supposed to be simple. I don't know if you saw in the news a few years ago, the King of Saudi Arabia, King Fahd, this was back 10, 15 years ago. I'm mentioning him because his event was more broadcast, was more publicized on BBC and CNN. He was among the wealthiest men on the planet because he was the king of Saudi Arabia. When he passed away, you saw a very simple funeral for him, just clad in white cloth. They just did a prayer on him and then went and buried him. But basically, that's how we're recommended to do all our funerals and so on. There's just one thing that happens that so when Muslims are born, really everyone's born Muslim, particularly when you're born in a Muslim family, the father or someone calls the azan in your right ear. Azan is the call to prayer. You'll hear it during all the time. That's basically the first thing you hear when you come to the world. When you pass away is when we do a prayer for you. Like the whole mosque or the community gets together, and it's a very short prayer, a minute or two, in congregation for you. Yeah. And then that after that they head off to the cemetery. Before that prayer, if you noticed, and I said that we took the ablution area where we wash up and then perform prayer, right? So for the ones who have passed away, we do a quick washing sort of ceremony for them as well. And that's the washing room here. This is basically where the washing takes place. We put the body here, and then we have a few volunteers who come in, who are trained, who know what they're doing. We have a funeral director who oversees the whole thing. So it's typically set over this that the water drains into the toilet bowl there. It's not set up the right way, but basically, the washing you'll see on the side there. You have towels, we have soaps, we have camphor, and a few other things for scent and so on. And this here is a freeze box as well. Okay. And outside you'll see and coffins over there. So that's basically as simple as can be. That's the coffin. We don't have. I mean, if you want, you can get a mahogany and whatever you want to get, but that's basically the recommended version of it. And that's how short and simple life is, really.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but the point is, I think if you go to any Muslim cemetery, for that matter,
Yeah.
you won't see anything more than just a headstone with a name on it.
Mm-hmm.
That's about it. And if you go to Saudi Arabia, you won't even see a headstone there.
Mm.
It's like you won't even realize it's a graveyard and so on. Even if you go to like the cemetery where all the kings and richest people are, you won't even know who's who there. Because that's how you came with nothing, you go back with nothing. Except your good deeds and whatever good you have done. That's
See, on the bright side with video, I can edit out any mistakes you made. So like, when I was editing, I'm like, oh, gotta make him look really good. So I'm gonna really edit this up.
this is my best buddy. You go back a long way.
I'll edit this video too and make you look really good. Really smart.
Yeah. Oh, you can take a few boxes of food to go as well. What's inside? There's activity going on.
When I would bring it somewhere.
This is a little. You can just Just go all the way because the shoes.
Sorry,
back.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
That's okay. I'm just showing you this classroom. This classroom is a little different from your typical classroom. I mean, all of the other classrooms have tables and chairs. You can show that I'll show that as well. But this is called, if you walk in, it's called Tahfiz classroom. So this is where, like I said, the kids want to memorize the Quran. This is where they sit down together. You see the benches. This is like typical old style. So they'll sit down on the floor with the benches, the Quran on the benches, and then they memorize this. This is where your teacher will be sitting, and then he'll hear your recitation and correct you. So this is just a different classroom setting, just for those who are memorizing, just for that lesson.
Yep, and this is specifically for the memorizers of the Quran. The science classrooms look like a science lab. The English and math are like traditional.
Classroom as well. This is one of our. Oh, this is the science lab, so it's locked because Breaking Bad.
Hopefully there's nothing going on like Breaking Bad in there.
No. You can cut that out, right? Cut that out, right? I'm gonna be in trouble by the end of this. Let me show you one more classroom, just so you know it's a typical classroom and nothing else. Yeah, this is more like it for you guys, right? This one for smaller ones. But yeah, typically each grade we have 50 kids, so we have 2 sections for each grade. But yeah, nothing special here. All right, now we'll head for the iftar. Just a few minutes to go. So it's gonna be in 2 parts. One is gonna be
Dates.
yeah, and then
During.
the actual dinner is gonna be after. What time is it?
7:32.
5 minutes. So this is just the part where they'll break the fast with the simple dates and water, and then we'll head up to prepare, and then we'll go back down to the gym there for the actual dinner. We just ran out, but customers start with dates. I think you've heard of that part.
Yep.
I think I was just using them, but we'll hear more.
There we go.
All right. Take this one out.
أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله. الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح. قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله.
إلى الله وعمل صالحا وقال إنني من المسلمين.